Question: DS. If A is greater than B, is 1 greater than B over A? Condition 1. A is greater than 0. Condition 2. B is greater than 0. Solution: let us solve this DS question using the variable approach. The first property of inequality. Multiplying or dividing an inequality by a positive number does not change the direction of the inequality sign, which is positive rule in inequality. If A is greater than B, then A times X is greater than B times X, and A over X is greater than B over X, where X is greater than 0. The first fundamental concept in inequality. If A is greater than B, which is greater than C, then A is greater than B, and B is greater than C, and A is greater than C. Also, if A is greater than X, and X is greater than B, then A is greater than X, which is greater than B. The second fundamental concept in inequality. When we add or subtract a certain number from both sides of the inequality, the sign of inequality does not change. So, if we add or subtract x from both sides of an inequality, it does not affect the inequality sign. If A is greater than B, then A plus minus x is greater than B plus minus x. Let us follow the first step of the variable approach by modifying and rechecking the original condition and the question. We are required to verify whether 1 is greater than B over A if A is greater than B. We are given that A is greater than B. Now, by subtracting B from each side, we get A minus B is greater than B minus B, or A minus B is greater than 0, by the second fundamental concept in inequality. Also, we are required to verify whether 1 is greater than B over A, which can be rewritten as whether A squared is greater than A times B after multiplying both sides by A squared, since multiplication by a square does not change the direction of inequality sign according to the first property of inequality, which is positive rule in inequality, and the fact that squares are important. You can see that square is multiplied to both sides, right? Square is important in inequality questions. Now, subtract A times B from both sides of A squared is greater than A times B to get A squared minus A times B is greater than 0, or A times whole of A minus B is whole greater than 0, by the second fundamental concept in inequality. However, we know from above that A minus B is greater than 0, so the question becomes whether A is greater than 0. Let us take a look at condition 1. It tells us that A is greater than 0. This is what we were looking for, and therefore, the answer to the modified question, is A greater than 0, is a unique yes. So the condition is sufficient according to CMT1, which states that the answer will be in terms of a unique yes or no. Condition 2 tells us that B is greater than 0. We know that A is greater than B. If then B is greater than 0, we get A is greater than B, which is greater than 0, or A is greater than 0 by the first fundamental concept in inequality. Thus, the answer to the question, is A greater than 0, is yes. Therefore, the answer is a unique yes. So the condition is sufficient according to CMT1, which states that the answer will be in terms of a unique yes or no. Also, according to tip 1, it is about 95% likely that D would be the answer when the value of condition 1 is equal to the value of condition 2. That is, condition 1 equal to condition 2. Each condition alone is sufficient. Thus, D is the correct answer. Answer D.